Earth has a lot of ice, and I mean a lot. Antarctica alone holds 26.5 million cubic kilometers of ice. Greenland adds another 2.8 million. Then there are glaciers, ice caps, and sea ice scattered across the planet. In total, about 69% of all fresh water on Earth is frozen. But what if it all melted? Not over centuries, not over decades, instantly. One moment, ice. Next moment, water. Let us start with the obvious, sea levels. If all ice on land melted, sea levels would rise by approximately 70 meters. That is 230 feet. A 20-story building underwater. Coastal cities would vanish. New York, gone. London, gone. Shanghai, Tokyo, Mumbai, Sydney, Miami, Amsterdam. All underwater. Florida would almost completely disappear. Bangladesh would lose most of its land. The Netherlands would cease to exist. Roughly 40% of the world's population lives within 100 kilometers of a coastline. Billions of people would lose their homes instantly. But wait. We said the ice melts instantly. That means the water appears instantly too. This is not a slow flood you can run from. This is 70 meters of water appearing in seconds. The energy release would be catastrophic. When ice melts, it absorbs heat. Melting all ice on Earth would require approximately 9.8 times 10 to the 24 joules of energy. That is more energy than the sun delivers to Earth in an entire year. Where does this energy come from if it happens instantly? The answer is, it cannot happen naturally. But let us ignore that and focus on what happens next. 70 meters of water appearing along every coastline would create mega tsunamis. Walls of water crashing inland at hundreds of kilometers per hour. Even areas above the new sea level would be devastated by the initial wave. Then the water would settle. But the chaos would not stop. Ocean currents would completely collapse. Right now, cold water sinks near the poles and warm water flows in to replace it. This drives the global conveyor belt, the system that distributes heat around the planet. With no polar ice, this system breaks. Europe, which is kept warm by the Gulf Stream, would experience dramatic cooling. Tropical regions might overheat without proper heat distribution. Weather patterns would become unpredictable and extreme. And the salt problem. Ocean water is salty. Ice is mostly fresh water. Dumping 2.6 million cubic kilometers of fresh water into the oceans would dilute the salinity. Many marine species depend on specific salt levels. Coral reefs would die. Fish populations would collapse. The entire marine food chain would be disrupted. Now let us talk about what we lose besides coastlines. Freshwater reserves. Remember, 69% of Earth's fresh water is currently frozen. When it melts into the ocean, it becomes salt water. We cannot drink it anymore. Billions of people depend on glacial meltwater for drinking, farming, and electricity. The Himalayas feed rivers that support 1.5 billion people. The Andes glaciers supply water to millions in South America. Instantly, all that fresh water is gone, mixed into the salty oceans. Undrinkable. The irony. We would be flooded with water we cannot use. But there is more ice we have not considered. Permafrost. Permafrost is frozen ground in Arctic regions. It covers about 25% of the northern hemisphere's land surface. And it contains something dangerous. Methane. Trapped in permafrost are billions of tons of methane and carbon dioxide. When permafrost melts, these gases release into the atmosphere. Methane is 80 times more potent than carbon dioxide as a greenhouse gas. An instant release would trigger runaway warming. Temperatures would spike globally. More ice would have already melted, so this becomes a feedback loop from hell. The planet would continue warming uncontrollably. Some scientists also worry about ancient bacteria and viruses frozen in permafrost. Diseases we have no immunity to, released all at once. Probably fine, though. Now, the weight problem. Ice is heavy. Antarctica's ice sheet weighs about 26,500 trillion kilograms. This weight pushes down on the land beneath it. Remove that weight instantly, and the land rebounds. This is called isostatic rebound. Normally, it happens slowly over thousands of years as ice melts gradually. Instantly, the land would spring upward. Earthquakes would ripple across previously stable regions. Volcanic activity might increase as pressure changes affect magma chambers. Antarctica itself would rise by several hundred meters over time. But the instant release could trigger immediate geological chaos. So let us summarize what happens in the first few minutes. 70 meters of sea level rise. Mega tsunamis devastating every coastline. Billions displaced or dead. Ocean currents collapsing, marine ecosystems dying, fresh water supplies gone, massive methane release, runaway greenhouse effect, earthquakes from land rebound, possible volcanic eruptions, ancient diseases maybe, all from ice disappearing in an instant. Good news? This cannot actually happen. There is no mechanism to melt all ice instantly. Even nuclear weapons could not do it. The energy required is simply too vast. Ice melts slowly. And that slowness gives us time. Time to prepare. Time to adapt. Time to maybe, possibly, reduce how much ice we lose in the first place. The ice is melting. Just not instantly. That is the only reason we still have a chance. Cherish the glaciers. They are holding back chaos.